Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This episode is going to break with the ones we've just seen, which were all kind of looking back at something that we had seen before and looked at something that was sort of a new variant on that topic, to look at something that I've sort of been hinting we would start covering in some of the recent project update videos. There just is not a lot of new stuff being released for Star Wars right now as far as official releases. The newest stuff didn't hit the US. It was things like those sets back there. I have, 18 of those sets now at this point? All the ones from Australia, the highest end version from France, and the ones from the UK, and even then, that's all really that there was. I currently am not planning on grabbing the other ones from France. I considered it, but Amazon France is completely sold out of the DVD ones, and if I can't get the other 6 to go with the 3 that I've got, I'm not going to get any of those at all. But this is a series that talks about Star Wars home video stuff, and it's just like a drought right now. There's not a lot of stuff to cover. But there is stuff that's been sitting in my collection that I haven't covered because it didn't really fit within the purview of the show. When we broadened out from official Star Wars releases to include stuff like documentaries made by fans or about fans, and parodies and things like that, I kept sort of some rules to what it was we were going to look at. And at this point, those rules again need to be broadened to look at more stuff. This is an episode that's going to be the first of some that will look at Star Wars parodies, mostly fan-made parodies, produced for sale, as opposed to just released online, or where somebody could like download and burn a copy for themselves. But actual parody releases, released legally because they are parodies, that are sitting in my Star Wars home video library that I just have never really taken the time to show on the show because I haven't really thought that it sort of fit the purview of the show. But as the official content is dwindling, I do want to show these now, and I'm sure there are others who have these in their collections as well. So strap in, I suppose, because we're going to start delving into some weird stuff. And I will always try to tell you at the beginning of the episode that we are looking at one of these oddball parodies, or fan-made parodies in some cases, so that if that's not something you're interested in, you can bail on the episode. That said, this time we're looking at a parody that when I was looking at the shelves, I was like, oh god, we're going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this one. Because it looks freaking weird. I hadn't seen it in many years, and I had several copies of it. Partly because of stuff that I picked up in the past, partly because of stuff that came into my collection through the generosity of Matt Fry. One thing that in researching to do the episode, I realized existed and was, I think, the one thing I didn't have of it that I then begrudgingly bought on eBay, even though I was kind of like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm buying something for this again. Was kind of my mindset there. But then I went back and rewatched it. When doing the research for this episode, I went back and rewatched this particular Star Wars parody, because I remembered it being funny at the time, and something I really enjoyed, otherwise I wouldn't have bought a copy of it. But at the same time, I was like, whatever, because this was way before I was actually a collector of Star Wars home video stuff when I got my first copy of this. And it turns out I had forgotten how funny it was, and it really was one of my favorite Star Wars parodies at the time. I'd almost forgotten how much I enjoyed it. And it's just goofy as hell. It is a product of its time for certain, but it had some lines in it that were like go-to standard lines, almost like memes are today in conversations with other fans online for years. There's still stuff from this that sticks in the back of my mind that I will say from time to time, or think from time to time, that I had forgotten came from this. So what parody is it that I'm talking about? It is Steve Odekirk's Thumb Wars. Steve Odekirk has this whole line of thumb programs, and they're freaking bizarre. Thumb Wars apparently was the first. The idea is, it almost makes me think that maybe he extrapolated this from doing a lot of like thumb wrestling type stuff, because the idea is you take a thumb, just the thumb, and you dress up the thumb in clothes, so this is sticking up as the thumb's face. And then you use, superimposing technology, I'm assuming digital technology here, especially for the latter ones, and you basically take a person's eyes, maybe their eyebrows or some fake eyebrows, and mouth, and put it on the thumb. And that's a character. And everything has a theme that's like a hand. Like the Millennium Falcon is hand, and it's just like this kind of shape used for the Millennium Falcon, which is actually pretty close. it's not the dark side, it's the nail side of the thumb. The helmets on stormtroopers or on Darth Vader, their equivalents in this, are basically thimbles. The lightsabers, rather ingeniously, recalling thumb wrestling, come as blades from the nail on the back of the head, because it's the back of the thumb. It's bizarre, but it kind of works. It's pretty damn funny. It does, though, have some humor that in modern times would not be considered necessarily in good taste. But it is, well, it was a revelation to me, reminding myself of how much I quoted this thing back in my youth. Back in what was basically, I guess, like my college years, my bachelor degree era, my undergrad college years. So let's take a look here at what we've got. We will start with the original VHS release. I keep all my VHSs in protective sleeves, by the way. You can find plenty of those on places like eBay. We start with this. This is a release from 1999, the original VHS version of Thumb Wars. It is simply the trailer for another of his Thumb films, Thumbtanic, which we'll see a lot of in this episode, and then the Thumb Wars special itself. Now, my understanding, based on what it says on the bottom here, says Steve Odekirk presents Thumb Wars. The various characters and whatnot, there's what I meant by Millennium Falcon Han's hand looking like a hand, and how it's like thumbs with freaking faces and hair and stuff on them. They're just bizarre looking. It says at the bottom, extended director's cut. I would assume this means that the half-an-hour version that is on here is not the same version initially released online. I know, though, that it actually aired on UPN back in '99, the network, the United Paramount Network, back in the day, which eventually, I guess, with WB merged into the CW eventually, if I remember correctly. But UPN aired Thumb Wars on television. It was an edited version, so this definitely is more content than what showed on television here. It is a parody of A New Hope, primarily. It does work in a little bit from The Empire Strikes Back. Basically, when they're escaping the Death Star, they wind up finding their way to an asteroid field and hiding, but instead of it being inside a space slug, the cave they're hiding in is basically like Dagobah-ish, because that's where they meet this version of Yoda called, apparently, Puppet, who is played by a puppet, not a thumb, and has a really horrible voice. This is kind of the creepiest, crappiest aspect of this entire special. Doesn't really need to be there at all. That then moves on to finish out A New Hope and whatnot. If you ever wondered about people doing lightsaber dueling or bickering while standing on their ships in the middle of space, no, Visions didn't do it first. For Star Wars, at least. This did it, too, as a parody. But yeah, it's odd. It's odd. But yeah, there's an extended version found on here. It's the same version we're going to see on all these home video releases. O Entertainment, Thumb Wars. There's their version of the Death Star here. And it's got a thumb. Then we have a product number and VHS. Similar on the other side. Top has their version of Yoda, Puppet, with Thumb Wars there. And then the back, I'll read through the text. We have some images from it along with the text. Then created by writer/director/producer Steve Odekirk. And his credits, which are mentioned up here, I believe. Actually, no, they're not. They're mentioned on one of the other ones, so I guess I'll mention them here. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, Nothing to Lose, and Patch Adams are among his credits. O Entertainment, color, runtime of 29 minutes, not rated. Copyright down here at the bottom with some legalese. The cassette itself actually has a nice label on it, decently enough. The black with the yellow. I kind of like that, as you notice from the opening of every episode of this series here, pretty much. Steve Odekirk presents Thumb Wars. Color, 29 minutes, not rated. O Entertainment, VHS stereo, FBI warning over there. The text says, and this is different than the text we will see subsequently, hold on to your cuticles and get ready for the first all thumbs at Space Epic. Join whining hero Loke Groundrunner and his tasty companion Princess Bunhead, because basically like cinnamon rolls on her head, as they try to stop Black Helmet Man and the evil Thumpire from doing things that are really bad. Eat peas. May the thumb be with you. Again, it's odd. Crunchy, their version of Chewbacca, is still creepy as all hell even today. Holy crap, he's creepy. But it has lines that have stuck with me for years and images that have stuck with me for years. Like the idea of, the opening crawl is going off into space. What if a ship ran into it? Look out for that word kind of stuff. Gosh, what are some of the other things that stuck in my mind that I had used year after year after year? Like when playing games, playing board games and video games, waiting to be killed. Waiting to be killed was one of them. The power is strong in you, as is your silly gibberish, which, of course, is totally me. And then probably the two that stand out. One was used in speaking to me repeatedly at the time, which is, what is the line? No problem, nasty butler. What? Just, there's a point at which you have a character in the trench run battle, in what is basically the Battle of Yavin, is basically constantly referring to the main character, Loke Groundrunner, as basically all these different nicknames instead of Red 5. And one of them is Nasty Butler. And that stuck because of my name. I may have just reignited it, hopefully not. But then probably the big one is, the big two that stick out, that still stick with me, is, Star Wars has the no kind of thing. There's a point at which basically this equivalent of an R2-D2 character has to do that. And it's beep, beep, which has stuck with me. Still use that in my head a lot. Says a bit about me, I'm sure. The other one, though, that sticks with me, which has also been a meme in rare circles, you still see it every once in a while, was when this equivalent of Obi-Wan, who is Ooby Dooby Scooby Dooby Benooby, speaks to Loke Groundrunner for the first time, and in introducing himself says, "You must be the crybaby." Again, stuff that stuck with me for years. It probably isn't funny to anybody other than me and other people who've watched this. You're probably thinking, wow, he's out of his mind. Maybe not far from the truth, at least on enjoyment of Thumb Wars here. But it's just one that really stuck out. So I had picked it up way back when on this original VHS release from '99. And I had some of the subsequent releases. I will say that most of the subsequent releases we're going to see here are actually ones that came to me through Matt Fry when he donated a big chunk of his collection into mine. There was later a VHS release in 2001. Of course, this one, oddly enough, is what gave it the name that it often goes by. The actual program is just called Thumb Wars. Nowhere is there an episode number or an episode name or anything like that. It's just Thumb Wars. But what we have here is that in 2001, it was sort of rebranded to look like the different releases we were seeing then of like DVDs like Phantom Menace, sort of setting the tone of what DVDs for the prequels, for instance, would look like. And here we have, up at the top, every hand has a thumb. Okay? And may I say, speaking of taglines for this has one of the best opening taglines of any kind of thing that makes a parody of A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Instead of it being A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, Star Wars, it's, if there were thumbs in space and they got mad at each other, there would be Thumb Wars. Beautiful. Whew. As I almost choked to death there, excuse me. We have the one, but it's a thumb. Thumb Wars, the Phantom Cuticle. Again, name is nowhere on the actual program, but shows up on this and some subsequent releases. Different character layout here, very much like what we would see with the DVD releases of the prequels and eventually the original trilogy, but prequels was kind of what this was based on, especially with the color scheme and all. Down at the bottom, we have Steve Odekirk, Filmette, calls it a filmette as opposed to a short film here. The top, Thumb Wars, the Phantom Cuticle. Side, image from the front, Thumb Wars, the Phantom Cuticle, VHS, Image Entertainment, product number. Essentially the same thing on the other side. The back here, couple of their equivalents of TIE fighters, more shots from it, and text about the program. Created with Thumbation. Sure. Color stereo, 29 minutes, not rated, legally stuff. O Entertainment, Image Entertainment, down here. Now that back text this time is different. We'll see this mostly carry across the other releases. It says, created by the writer of The Nutty Professor, Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, and Patch Adams. Okay, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. This hilarious Thumbation spoof features reluctant hero Loke Groundrunner and his tasty companion Princess Bunhead as they try to stop Black Helmet Man and the evil Thumbpire from doing really bad things. So hold on to your cuticles, eat your peas, and get ready for the first and only all thumbs space epic. May the thumb be with you. So sort of a reworking, which also works his credentials into the mix. As far as what's inside, this is hilarious to me. Again, it's Princess Bunhead. She has basically cinnamon rolls for her hair to replicate Leia's on like that thumb face. So what does it come with a coupon for? I shit you not. Cinnabon! Which, according to one of my favorite comedians, Steve Hofstetter, is apparently the only thing you should be thinking about when you go to an airport. At least definitely not looking for dog crap on the ground. But it's a freaking Cinnabon coupon thing in Thumb Wars because of Princess Bunhead. That is screwed up, in my opinion, but also awesome. But it says, offer expires March 1st, 2002. I'm trying to let you see this while I'm reading it, but it's hard for me to do that because I need to crane my head here. But I don't want it to go completely white from the light. I gotta get better at that. Princess Bunhead invites you to redeem this coupon for one free Cinnamon Classic Cinnamon Roll, or Cinnabon Classic Cinnamon Roll, excuse me. Has her, the TIE Fighter equivalents, Cinnabon, not valid with any other offer. Lots of legalese stuff at the bottom with some cinnamon rolls and whatnot in the corners. The one free there as your currency type thing. But yeah, it's a freaking Cinnabon coupon. I don't know if it was in the DVD release. I think the DVD release is something I picked up way back in the day. New label, going vertical, like many of the ones of its era for Star Wars here. Thumb Wars, The Phantom Cuticle, O Entertainment, Image Entertainment, lots and lots of legalese and stuff down there. Very, very tiny down here is a product number and the runtime, again. Now that VHS did carry over the Thumbtanic trailer, but instead of putting it before the film, before Thumb Wars, it moved it to the end alongside the trailer for Thumb Wars itself, which is a parody to some degree of the trailer for Phantom Menace, and also a trailer for another of their Thumb films, The Blair Thumb. Yes, based on the Blair Witch Project. At the same time, in 2001, we saw a DVD release. This is why it looks like the DVD releases for the prequels, you know, with The Phantom Menace being the one that came out in 2001. So we again have essentially the same stuff on here, just spread out, a little more space because it's not as narrow. DVD symbol down here in the corner. Similar spine here. The image of Loke, Thumb Wars, The Phantom Cuticle, Image Entertainment, and then the product number down here. Similar information on the back, just kind of spread out. It is a Region 1 DVD. But there's a special features box that notes special features, including a Jabba the Butt video interview. Okay, the version of Jabba in this is bizarre and hella creative. I'm assuming by now if you wanted to watch it, you probably have, but suffice to say, Jabba the Hutt is basically somebody upside down from like here down. It's weird. It's just weird. But it allows the mouth to move naturally. You just gotta see it to believe it. There's audio commentary with Steve Odekirk and Paul Marshall, coming attractions trailers, which includes the 3 that I mentioned that are also on the VHS, and storyboards. But I'd also note there is another section not listed, which is basically like, it's called Thumbographies, and it's basically little profiles as text of the major characters, and it has stuff like, you know, name, occupation, turn-ons, function, depending on which type of character it is. It's odd, but so is everything else about this, so it fits. As far as the physical content, disc here, with the TIE Fighter equivalents and Luke equivalent there, Thumb Wars, The Phantom Cuticle, Region 1, NTSC, product number, DVD, Image Entertainment, O Entertainment, and then the copyright stuff over there off to the side. And there is an insert themed after this release, Thumb Wars, The Phantom Cuticle, scene selections with a list of all the scenes there, with again, so the X-Wing equivalent, Falcon equivalent, TIE equivalent here and here, and then the Luke equivalent there, Luke. But as I've mentioned, there was another of these Thumb films pretty early on, because it had a trailer before the original Thumb Wars on its 1999 VHS release. That was a parody of Titanic by James Cameron called Thumbtanic. From the bottom of the ocean to the surface of that very same ocean. Kind of an odd tagline, but it worked if you've seen the trailer. And it was released around the same time as Thumb Wars, which meant that they were the 2 earliest. And if you've got 2 things in a thumb-type theme, Surely you want to put those together somehow, right? Yes, of course, but what they did here was really kind of cool. Something you don't typically see with instances in which two programs of similar themes, or even loosely connected themes, or maybe from the same company, get lumped together on a single release. Usually it's just, let's take the releases for both, let's just slap it into one package and call it a day. No. There was an actual double feature, a thumb double feature as it was called, created to include both Thumb Wars and Thumbtanic. And when they did this, they changed it from being just Thumb Wars and Thumbtanic, although in this case in reverse order, to being basically one program. They created a framing story in which a family called the Thumbersons, I believe I said that, yeah, the Thumbersons, who are really annoying as hell, by the way, but all thumbs again, the Thumbersons go to see a double feature at their local movie theater, apparently with a dog and a baby, among other things. And they go to the theater, and it's like it opens up with them talking about going to see the movie and talking about what they're going to see and all that kind of stuff. There's basically introductory segments. So you have like an opening chapter of the DVD and the opening segment of the VHS, because it's going to be on both, of course, at this point, where essentially it's just them settling down in the theater getting ready to watch. And then aside from one quick shot of like the company logo with sort of like theater curtains around it, it just then plays Thumbtanic straight through except the credits. And then closing with a shot, again with sort of the curtain around it, it goes into an intermission segment, and it's a little bit more with the Thumbersons. There's the trailer for the Blair Thumb, and then after a little bit of Thumberson inane conversation, we dive into Thumb Wars again with like the first shot having kind of the curtain around it for a company logo before it dives into the rest of the stuff. It goes all the way through Thumb Wars and then ends again with sort of a shot with the curtains, leading into some final comments from the family as they then finally get up and leave. They talk about how, oh, I want to see it again. Yeah, because I want my butt to be even more numb, blah, blah, blah. And then they head out, and then once they head out, credits roll, and it's basically the credits for Thumbtanic, then the credits for Thumb Wars, then the credits for all the new Thumbersons stuff for this thumb double feature. It's freaking weird. Of course, all this is weird. That is just even more weird. But really kind of interesting in that they're presenting something that could have just been two back-to-back specials on the same VHS or DVD. That's it. And instead, they wove them together into a whole new production with all this framing stuff to go with it. It's pretty impressive. Again, freaking weird, and impressive in a bizarre way, but impressive that they would do something that you usually wouldn't see with programs being combined onto one release. And first you have the VHS here. We have sort of the split here of imagery from Thumb Wars and Thumbtanic. It says Steve Odekirk presents Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, a thumb double feature. Image there with the two sides there. Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, VHS, image, entertainment, and product number. Same thing basically on the other side. The top is split, Thumb Wars and Thumbtanic. And then the back, UPC up here. A couple shots from each, kind of condensed down, of course. So we have the Thumbtanic side with its sort of name up here and a little bit about it and whatnot. And then you have Thumb Wars with its name here and a little bit about it. Again, it's that same kind of stuff that we saw before, just put in smaller text here. And then the created with Thumbation thing here, same image we saw before, but I don't think I called it out. And then here it notes that it includes coming attractions trailers. Oh, entertainment, image entertainment, ratings, runtime, legalese, all that kind of stuff down here at the bottom. And then a new label, also split, Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, O Entertainment, image entertainment, legalese, all that kind of stuff, product number, runtime, and all that down there. After the special is over, there are trailers on here. They're the only special features, as it mentions, coming attractions. Those are trailers for Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, and Blair Thumb that we've seen before. Also for The God Thumb, a parody of Godfather, Bat Thumb, a parody of Batman, and Franken Thumb, a parody of Frankenstein. There was also a DVD equivalent of the double feature, with some extra goodies. So a similar cover here, Steve Odekirk presents Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, a thumb double feature. Oh, it does have a DVD up here in the corner. Image again, Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, image entertainment product number. The back, similar design, except now, of course, it has to expand out that special features box because it's not just coming attractions, it's not just a bunch of trailers slapped on at the end, there are actual bonus features. For Thumb Wars, it's essentially the same special features for the most part. It only mentions the Gabba the Butt video interview and storyboards, but it does include all the ones from before, all the ones from Thumbtanic, which we can touch on here in just a second. I would note, though, that it does not include the commentary for either of them, because those would have been just for that film, so I guess it just didn't make sense to run them together as an audio track, because they would have had to do something with the Thumbersons segment, and it even says, double feature includes special appearance by the Thumbersons, as if I guess maybe they were known somehow. Hell if I know. But yeah, so you have this, tons and tons of cool bonus features if you're into that sort of thing. Similar way of sort of splitting the label here with the image there of the main characters, Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, Legalese stuff, Region 1, NTSC, product number, DVD video, O Entertainment, Image Entertainment. And there is, again, a nice little insert, one-sided, that sort of splits the background and image again, but gives you all the different scenes. So basically, prior to Thumbtanic, there's a new chapter called At the Movies with the Thumbersons. Then you got Thumbtanic that runs straight through, followed by Intermission, Coming Attractions, which is Blair Thumb, and Still at the Movies, well, it is a double feature, followed by Thumb Wars, followed then at the end by Let's Go Home Before Our Butts Get Even More Numb, and then, as I mentioned, the 3 sets of end credits. So weird, but definitely this is the best way to get that double feature if you want to see it with the framing story and everything. It sort of adds a bit to it and still get all the bonus features except the commentaries. This would be the one to check out, but it is not a substitute because the commentary is missing for the other one from 2001, which of course is the Thumb Wars release by itself. And if that wasn't enough, this also found its way to a format that didn't see any actual Star Wars releases in the United States. There was a release in the US for Family Guy Blue Harvest on this format, and in the UK there was a release for the Clone Wars film on this format, but no official Star Wars releases in the US, and that format is UMD for the PlayStation Portable Game System. So we have here UMD video for PSP, and the same sort of title type thing here again. The spine has UMD video, image and the 2 titles again, Image Entertainment and product number, back similar information, just kind of formatted into this type of packaging. It is a Region 0 NTSC as opposed to Region 0 PAL, which we've seen a lot of. This is Region 0 NTSC. If you're not familiar with a UMD, it is this little thing here. You put this entire thing into the player, and there's a little window that it's able to read through. It says UMD Universal Media Disc here. Let me sort of angle this. It's very reflective. We have Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, O Entertainment, Image Entertainment, Region 0 NTSC, UMD, and then product number, I believe. Yeah, product number with some legalese going around the edges. That is the UMD itself. Packaging is sort of that split background there of sky for Thumbtanic and space for Thumb Wars. And then you've got an advertisement in it, which is interesting. New UMD titles for PSP from Image Entertainment, mostly stuff that I'm not particularly familiar with. Down at the bottom says, and this is just the beginning. Of course, UMD died very quickly. Image Entertainment and their website. But then the back, interestingly, is instructions on how to actually watch a UMD movie at all on your PSP, which I thought was kind of an interesting little twist on needed information there. Quick start instructions. Insert the UMD video, access the UMD video, and watch the UMD video, with specifics on how to do that with some warning legalese at the bottom. So no Star Wars releases on UMD in the US, at least not official Star Wars releases, but parodies? Yeah, this is now the second one we've seen get a UMD release in the US alongside Blue Harvest, which was much more widely known. And then came the one that I didn't know existed until I started doing some searching, but I think this is the only other one related to Thumb Wars that I didn't have. And I wound up searching for it on eBay, found a few that are in pretty crappy condition, including some sealed ones that are in crappy condition, and found one that was in fairly decent condition and decided to buy it. Now, this is before I rewatched it, so I was sort of begrudgingly doing this, but now I'm kind of like, I actually kind of want to see the other ones, because I had forgotten, as I said, how fun Thumb Wars was originally. But this is a boxed set that includes the DVD versions in their original releases, just in a slipcover, of all of the ones that we just saw mentioned as trailers for this release. Those are the ones found in the boxed set. This is the boxed set itself. Okay? It says up there at the top, Steve Odekirk presents again, All Thumbs. What else could it have been called? That's just freaky! And notice he doesn't have any clothes, I guess, so that'd be like the character in Thumb Wars, the I'm naked character. The bottom, the complete collection. You look at the side, Steve Odekirk presents All Thumbs, Thumb Wars, Thumbtanic, Franken-Thumb, The God Thumb, The Blair Thumb, Bat Thumb, DVD, O Entertainment, Image Entertainment, product number, and then the Steve Odekirk, Thumbation thing again there. The top is similar with Loke there, but the logo and then the titles again. The bottom is just a UPC there. The other side is just open. We'll look at these very quickly. And then the back has information about the whole shebang here, so to speak. At the top it says Steve Odekirk, the comic storyteller who brought you Ace Ventura, Jimmy Neutron, Kung Pao, and the Nutty Professor, delivers madcap hilarity in these 6 thumbtastic spoofs packed with special effects and outrageous laughs. It shows Thumb Wars, and Thumb Wars only now says, reluctant hero Loke Groundrunner and his tasty companion Princess Bunhead try to stop Black Helmet Man and the evil Thumpire from doing really bad things. Hold on to your cuticles and get ready for the first and only All Thumbs space epic. May the thumb be with you. Then you have Thumbtanic, God Thumb, Franken-Thumb, Blair Thumb, and Bat Thumb all listed. Down at the bottom, you have your legalese and stuff, kind of like on the DVD releases, Image Entertainment, O Entertainment, all the different legalese and icons and stuff down here. This is Region 1 NTSC for all of them. And inside this relatively thin, easily damaged, hence so many being in bad condition, slipcover here, you have just the regular releases. So we have the Phantom Cuticle, right? The way of re-releasing Thumb Wars in 2001. We have Thumbtanic by itself. Thumbtanic, for what it's worth, includes storyboards, audio commentary, cast interviews, and stuff like that as different features and whatnot. Those are also carried over to the individual one, again, except for any kind of commentary, which this does have here. But Thumbtanic, we're not going to spend much time with it. I'm just going to show you the interior here, front and back, because it's not the Star Wars release. I guess I could tell you the taglines, though. A story of thumbs, a story of love, a story of a very poorly steered ship. We then have the Blair Thumb, which I will read the front of in just a moment. Nice that they all have the little chapter listing inserts thus far, which is kind of cool here. The tagline here says, in October of some year, 3 student filmmakers went into the woods to shoot a documentary about the Blair Thumb without a tripod. Then we have Bat Thumb. No text on there or anything. Bat Thumb. Okay. Kind of cool seeing the little thing added to the top of the thumb there. Then we have Franken-Thumb. No taglines or anything on that package either. I spin it around so it can be visible here. And finally, the God Thumb. This almost, the style of this really reminds me of like official releases. I don't know what official releases of The Godfather look like. I think I've got one actually in that AFI Century Collection or something, but that just looks like sort of an official looking style to the packaging there. Very much like the emulation there for Thumb Wars, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, lots of different ways you could have gotten the Thumb Wars parody. The one runs about half an hour from Steve Odekirk that provided a lot of humor to me back in, my college years. I had completely forgotten how amusing it was. It is definitely a product of its time, though. Just so be aware of that if you're diving into it now in 2022. But I'm actually pretty glad that I have it in my Star Wars home video library, though I didn't expect to ever be showing it here on the show because it really wasn't within the purview. But now we're expanding our horizons. We'll be looking at this. We'll be looking at stuff like Hardware Wars, George Lucas in Love, whatever parodies happen to exist in physical, legally released form in my collection. We'll break it out and show it here on the show, always with that warning ahead of time. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the thumb be with the home video viewers.